back at Dallas Love Field, testing out the new Southwest Airlines boarding process, Gate 16, Dallas Love Field to Sacramento today. One thing you'll notice is that 15 minutes before the flight boards, and you already have a line up behind the Group 1 sign. So in the past, about 3 minutes before the flight would board, the gate agent would call and ask for A1 through 30 and 31 through 60. But now, since you are not lined up in numerical order, it's just everybody in Group 1. Now it really is a cattle call. People always said Southwest was a cattle call in the past. I never bought that because it was a very orderly boarding process. Everybody knew exactly where to go. But now, I'm Group 1 and got to the gate 15 minutes before. If I get in line right now, I'm going to be the 10th or 11th person to board, where in the past I would have just been A16, and there might have been A1 through 15 before me. Maybe not if they hadn't have sold all the business select. So that's one key difference that I'm noticing so far with the Southwest boarding process being 2 weeks in. All right, we are choosing to get in line right now. A-list preferred since 2015. I'm Group 1. And the line for Group 1 is currently 30 people deep. It looks like. So we're just gonna head to the back of the line. And we are moving Group 1. I counted there was 35 people ahead of me in Group 1, and I'm A-list preferred. So I'm not sure what's going on here. One thing I did notice, if you want to be toward the front of boarding Group 1, you got to get in line at least 20 minutes early and just stand there and hold your spot. So quite a bit different from the old Southwest way of hopping in numerical order 2 minutes before boarding. All right, heading down the jetway. I am seat 6C. I've been picking 6C if it's open on all my flights because that's an extra legroom seat toward the front. You now get special snacks if you're in extra legroom, as opposed to just the regular pretzels that everybody else gets on the flight. But the complaint online has been that all of the people in the first 6 rows or 8 rows get on the plane and the overhead bins are already full above them, and so people that are sitting in row 3 have been having to go against the grain and put their bags in row 20 and then make their way back to the front. And so we'll see if the overhead bins over row 6 are open when I get on the flight. We've been stuck in place here for about a minute, which with the old A1 through 16 boarding, I will say that never happened, or very rarely happened. You just had a straight shot A1 through 15, A1 through 30, just hit straight to the airplane and picked a seat and got on. So already I'm noticing things that were not typical of the historical Southwest Airlines boarding process. Still on the jetway, about a minute and a half later, slowly making our way onto the plane. This is one of the larger, newer planes, 175 seats, and so I'll be interested to see what the bin space looks like here once we get on the plane.
It's going to be very limited. If you have a roller bag, please place it up top. If it's smaller enough, a bit unsafe, please use that space. And kindly place your bag near your seat.
All right, we are getting on.
If you have a
And 6C is me right there on the aisle, and there is bin space, but it's getting limited.
26, 27, 28.
Well, and I think we also just
So already all the front bins are off, or full. A lady in row 1A just had to put her bag in row 8, which, as I mentioned, has been the main complaint online about the new Southwest boarding process.
Hey guys.
So one thing the flight attendant just made mention of is that somebody in 4A is coming with a bag and they need to find a spot for it.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks, Ronnie.
Southwest is figuring out what happens when you charge for bags and don't let them fly free. Everybody brings their carry-on on the plane. We also started boarding right on time, and 4 minutes till takeoff and people are still getting on the plane, which never happened in the historical Southwest boarding process. They're going to have to ditch the 30 minutes before and go to 35 or 40 like American. And as we get off the plane in Sacramento, all of the online complaints that I've been seeing were completely right. This is my third trip in 2 weeks on Southwest and have seen it played out the same way every time. A little bit of chaos in the boarding groups. Mine was 40 people deep for group 1. I got to row 6C and had to put my suitcase 2 rows behind me. I had to help several people get their bags that were 5 to 8 rows behind them in some cases, which might have used to happen once every couple of flights, but it happened at least 3 times on this flight. People whose bags were way farther back, and that was just the people that I helped. So definitely Southwest is going through some deplaning, getting on the plane and getting off the plane issues. And the other thing I would note, as I was talking with one of the flight attendants, they said to make sure that you reach out to Southwest Airlines and share your complaints or your stories about the new process so they know what's going on. It's time for flight number 2 on this itinerary, Sacramento to San Diego, and group 1 boarding is 40 people deep again, I would say. So one thing I've learned from this trip is that if you want to get on first because your number and space is not reserved, you got to get in line early. We'll see how long it takes to board this plane up. Got a lot of people in group 1. So what Southwest's new boarding policy has done is completely blocked the walkways in the terminal because they do not have the nice and neat 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15. So now people are just forced to line up however, and so what they've created is a completely blocked walkway, something that needs to be fixed. The flight attendants and pilots can't get through. People pushing people in wheelchairs can't get through either. Big mess right now. All right, group 1 through the gate, but stuck on the jetway again. Again, something that did not used to happen. All right, it's been over 4 minutes stuck in the jetway now, which isn't a big deal, but that's not how it used to be, so that's why I'm pointing it out. It's not that I need 4 minutes of my life back, but it's that never happened with the old. All right, second flight of the day. The people in the front row had to come back to like row 10 to put their stuff up in the bins. And I think it's because they're boarding people in the front rows first, and so all of that bin space gets taken up immediately, and then there's no space for the people that haven't gotten seated up there yet, and so that's why everybody's having to go against the grain to put their bin space. And they're charging for bags now to check them, so more people will inevitably carry on. It's pretty dark on the plane right now. One thing I have noticed with the new Southwest boarding policy is that the exit rows are empty. I'm sitting in an exit row, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 empty exit row seats on this flight from San Diego to Dallas. While in the back of the plane there are people crammed 3 to an aisle, and so that's something that would have never happened on the old Southwest system. But what that tells me is that people, the average traveler, does not want to pay $71 extra or $56 extra for an exit row seat. And one of the reasons that Southwest moved to this was to generate more revenue. But actually they're not, because this is a 2/3 full flight, and like I said, 9 to 10 empty exit row seats. So that's one thing that the Southwest Airlines new policies has really backfired, I would say, because people are not paying extra for those exit row seats. And we have made it back. Dallas Love Field, 10:30, 10:40 at night. 3 more flights. The second flight did not have boarding issues because I almost missed my connection, so I was the next to last person on the flight. So this last flight I didn't get to see how it boarded, but did have several observations about the boarding process. I actually have at least 4 recommendations that I'll be sending to Southwest Airlines, and be sure to be on the lookout for a new video shortly about my ideas to fix it. Thanks for watching.